is a Big Dick Players Club. Guys and gals, welcome to the Big Dick Players Club.
Welcome to the Big Dick Players podcast. Welcome to the Big Dick Players podcast. Been working on that in the mirror for like
A few years.
a few years. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Big Dick Players podcast. I can never say the podcast bit. I always fuck it up. So I'm just gonna say
Podcast.
The PCAS.
how would an Australian say it? Say it.
On the
Welcome,
old potty.
welcome to the Big Dick Players podcast.
No.
Cast.
Cast.
It's a cast, mate.
Even though you're Eastern State, you still say cast?
Yeah,
Not
we say-
cast?
No, we wouldn't say cast. We'd say cast.
You say castle though, right?
Castle.
Castle.
Let's say castle.
What about graph or graph?
Graph. It's easier.
You're a true Adelaide boy then.
No. It's
They say graph and castle.
no,
Pool.
dude. They don't. I grew up in Melbourne. They don't say that. They say the easier one. You know, Americans say castle. Oh, look at the castle.
No, it's not a castle, it's a castle.
Yeah, that's weird. I thought you guys did that.
No, we say castle.
Castle.
Dance
that's
and
just like-
chants.
This is a great start to the show.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing it back to Adelaide.
All right. Well,
Fucking Adelaide. Got like one Adelaidean viewer. Adelaidean viewer?
Yeah, it's me.
Just like
Adelaidean is
Adelaidean.
a lady from Adelaide, right?
I'm not
and
surprised.
that's an Adelaide.
Adelaide, whatever. Yeah, so get my beer here. Yeah, so this week we're gonna hit you up on a few topics. We're trying to get more professional.
I was only an hour and a half late.
Yeah, you're an hour and a
Brody-
half late. You
Brody's working on his timing.
yeah. So we're off to a really good start.
Yeah.
Fashionably late. It's fashionably.
And yeah, so we're gonna do a few topics, and we're gonna see how that goes. And then, yeah, maybe I don't have to edit the episodes so much. So it's just like us playing stupid keyboard songs for 20 minutes.
Like
I'm looking at you, Franco.
About 3 hours of keyboard isn't. That's easily editable, isn't it?
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
Yeah, no. So we're gonna talk about the first topic of the day on what's the deal. It's equal pay for female athletes. The US of A just won the women's
World
FIFA
Cup.
World Cup. Fans in the stadium started chanting, "Equal pay, equal pay, USA, A-OK." But like, what's the deal with that? I mean, what do you guys make of it?
Well, first, did you watch the actual game?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Are you a fan of soccer or football?
I'd watch the
men's World Cup.
World Cup, but that's because it's on
'Cause you're a big dick
every
player.
single TV in Germany when it's being
okay.
played. So you can't.
That is
pretty
true. It's
hard
a
to
lot
avoid.
easier.
Yeah.
It's easier to watch it than to not watch it. But I think I don't know. It's I knew that the US team, the female women's team,
Yeah.
was kind of had this political agenda behind their whole World Cup campaign, and it's because I heard that they filed a lawsuit against the federation, the US Federation, Football Federation, before the whole tournament to get equal pay, and the men's side were also
I didn't
on
hear
side
about that.
with the female team. So
You gotta get with the times, bro.
and now
How much
they've
are they getting paid though? Is this like a
it's significantly less.
yeah.
but are they getting paid like a the Premier League or the Champions League people? It's not millions, is it? It's like a more of a you're playing for your country, so you get a certain amount.
Yeah, you would make
I don't
more.
know. I'm asking.
You would make more as an individual player selling yourself to a club or
Yeah,
getting a contract with a club.
more,
Yeah.
yeah.
But when they play for their country,
They still-
when they play for the USA, they're getting kind of a standard rate, or do they still have to pay more
From my
to get better players?
understanding, the women, they get a standard rate, and then there's like an incentive on top of that. Whereas in the men's situation, they get, I guess, a standard rate, which is lower than the women's, but they end up making more through the incentives because the men's I guess, presence, or
Well, what it is
they're more.
when it comes to the World Cup, like the difference between the the men's and the women's is the overall revenue made from the men's competition is far greater than the women's league, and it's just because there's more advertisements and more people are watching. So I think it's like 4 billion euros or dollars that they made in revenue for the last World Cup.
Yeah.
And this women's World Cup was 72 million. So that's kind of like the contrast is the men's side makes more money, so the players get paid more. It's still unfair, but life is unfair. There's people dying, and like these people, equal pay. It's like, come on.
I think it's also because it's
Maybe just pay
still up and coming. I mean, it's
You need to pay the players more. Just pay the men less,
Well,
then-
I mean, what they should do is
That's
just
fair.
make it like.
All sports stars are paid way too much money.
Yeah, for sure. But you got to look at it like they can do two things, I guess. Make the scales the same, so then you can't be mad because the other guy is getting more money because
like
they
a percentage or something.
yeah,
It's
like make the
revenue.
percentage the same. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like it'll be a percentage of of course, 4 billion to 72 million. Like the layout is fair,
So you get a certain
It would
percentage
be-
of revenue.
Like I
and
don't
as-
know the whole politics of the whole thing, but it would be unfair to reduce one's salary just because the other side is not getting as much advertisement. Because
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
have control over that. That's society, right? Society is just fucked up like that.
Well, I think that the reason it got into the news or into the media so much in America was that the female team was making just as much revenue as the male team because the male team did so poorly in every single World Cup since 1930. I think the only time
They're
they
kind of
placed
terrible.
the only time the US placed in any World Cup, like past the group stage or whatever, was 1930, and that was when there was only 8 teams competing. So there's a little bit of
And maybe
some more contrast for you.
and maybe 94 when I think what do you get, automatic selection or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
If
I
you're hosting the World Cup,
Yeah. Well,
So
there you go.
basically, the men's side's been rubbish for well
That is
over
a good
half
point.
over half a century.
I forget
And
that soccer's not
Yeah.
that big in
But the
US.
women's side's done well consecutively. Like every single World Cup, they do really well. They'll always place, and
Well, they just fucking won
and they
the
just
World
yeah
Cup.
they just won the World Cup, and because it's built so much kind of it's put the spotlight on women's soccer in America because they're so good at it, and then it makes it more popular, and that's why they're complaining now or in the position to, because if
That's a fair point, though. It's like the male side is just they don't do anything,
Yeah.
but they're a part of this huge World Cup where there's a lot of revenue. But the women's side literally just won the World Cup.
they should put the
They should
female
actually-
side into the men's
or
category.
combine them, yeah.
Like the winner of the female World Cup, soccer World Cup, they get an entry card to the men's World Cup, and they get to beat. How good would that be if USA just kept going and
That'd
like
be
beat
hilarious.
all the men's sides? That'd be dope as fuck. That would
Be like
really
in primary
question a lot
school
of
when you-
people's.
When I played soccer in primary school, like the boys and the girls were in a combined side until like year 3 or 4
Till
or
we could
something.
beat the shit out of it. No, I mean there was
girls are always bigger before boys
Puberty.
were anyway.
they were taller. Yeah, that's why.
A little bit, yeah.
Do you guys have netball in Canada?
Netball.
Netball.
I think it was invented in Canada.
Yeah, it's like I
Fucking
thought it was
netball.
just like a
Netball.
Commonwealth game, but maybe it's only big in Australia and New Zealand. But it's basically basketball for it's for women.
retards.
No, I didn't want to say retards,
Sorry.
but it's basketball without the backboard, and you can't dribble the ball, and also the
sounds
players have positions on the court, so you're only allowed to be defense, mid or center or attacking.
So what you're saying is basketball is the retarded version of netball.
It's the freer version. you know. And in
It's
netball,
like freestyle.
the good
And by
but wait,
retard,
hear me
I
out,
mean
because
not
like
the derogatory term.
the best thing about netball is it was a great unisex game because you couldn't.
Move as much.
Yeah, well, once you had the ball, you had to just pivot. You couldn't dribble. You
touch
couldn't
some
run.
titties or something.
So it was all about kind of. It was all about angles and you know, I don't know,
Yeah.
getting into position rather than just sheer agility or
Yeah, like physical.
yeah. So that
It's
there wasn't.
extremely physical. Did you ever play?
I played at school, like in nothing serious, just like at lunchtimes or in PE or whatever.
In Adelaide, we kill for netball.
Actually, my school, Blackwood High, was a dedicated netball school. Like it was like a netball advancement.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've never even heard of this sport.
It's intense. I used to play like a mixed
I'm curious to see what it looks like on Google.
in a mixed team with some friends of mine, like from work, and like a male and female, and it's intense. It's really fucking tough.
No,
like it's
I
a
mean
lot
it
of
is tough. I'm talking like at a primary school level or early high school days where
Have you ever seen girls in fucking early high school playing netball? They are fucking ferocious.
yeah, they're very fierce. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that
on
it's
the netball court.
it requires a little bit more thinking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree because
Here we go. Ding, 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 ding. Brody
Playing,
versus Sean.
Yeah. Don't drive a wedge in here.
He would disagree with your opinion, motherfucker.
Dude, I played basketball for like 15 years. And
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I played netball at school against guys and girls. And I'm just saying the difference is with basketball, you can move around.
Freely, yeah.
And it's just totally different. And
No.
that's why I think that it's all about positioning and getting the ball and being in the right place.
Yeah.
And then it's also about there's only one person that can shoot the ball, and that's the tallest cunt on the fucking
Yeah, that's what
on
it
the
looks
court.
like. I'm looking at these images right
yeah.
now.
So
and
it's
just
all
like,
about getting the ball to that attacker.
See,
And you got to be able to like bounce pass. So it's kind of
holy fuck, some of these people look tall as fuck.
yeah, the taller the better.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm going to say. Is like, I thought that too when my friends were like, hey, we're getting together a casual team to play at the rec center. Do you want to join? I'm like, yeah, all right. It's netball. You know, you only have a dedicated spot. You don't have to, you're not running up and down the court. Because I did used to play basketball as well. But you know what it is? When you're limited, if you're in like defense, and so you're defending against someone who's in offense, and that person is just running everywhere. They're like a little puppy that is just fucking, they've got a hold of a toy and they're running around everywhere, and you have to stay on them the whole time because they're running everywhere to get into a new position where someone might be able to throw the netball to them.
Yeah, it's the position.
Yeah, so
That's the key word.
So what
honestly,
you're saying is
I was more
you were
tired.
just you were just hella lazy.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that girls are like unfit at that age. There's
No,
sporty girls and there's
No,
non-sporty girls.
from the
They
images
can-
I saw on Google, they look pretty fucking tough, man.
Those girls could like outrun.
Anyone.
Yeah, they're at the high level.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying at a fucking primary school, grade 7, your kids are like 13 years old. Those kids, it's anyone's game. It's about there would be girls that are better than guys at that sport, and then there would
Yeah.
be guys that would be good at other sports, but they just suck at netball. But the girls would just dominate and be like, "What the hell? What is this bounce pass?" They're like.
How did you learn to do that?
Yeah. They're all waiting for like the around the back, all this fancy
Yeah,
shit because they've been watching the NBA.
Yeah.
And then these girls would just be like, bounce pass and deflection. Oh, that's a foul.
Contact.
Contact.
I got called for contact all the time.
Yeah, I bet you
And
did.
I swear that I'm like, I didn't even touch. It's like, yeah, they ran into you, so that's contact. I'm like, that's unfair.
Yeah.
You move, Brody. You move.
Yeah. It sucks when you don't know the rules.
Yeah. 'Cause right now I'm just
Like, apparently they can
Brody.
run into you. and that's contact.
Foul.
Gotta get out of the way, Brody.
Technical foul.
Brody thought he could show
You're not
up
allowed
and do
sternies
nothing.
on the court, mate.
Yeah.
That's a technical foul.
I found
What do
this.
you mean I gotta move?
There's too much movement. It's very it's athletic. These people that just run around all the time, and
They said it
you're
was
in
less work than
defense.
basketball. If I knew, I would have just played basketball. Fuck.
Can you imagine Brody playing basketball though? It'd be
Oh,
pretty
that would be
funny.
fucking awesome.
Be sweet. With your glasses and they'd be like tied to
Yeah, I could see him with one
tied
of
to
those.
the back of your head.
I never had glasses as a kid.
Oh, you
I could
see
jump
people.
quite high though.
fucking 20/20 vision when I was fucking a little snapper, mate. Let me tell you.
The only reason I got glasses is so other people didn't feel so bad. I'm Modest Brody.
Always.
Brody does it because it's like it's his thing.
There's no
His shtick.
there's no actual
Like Roy
lenses in
Orbison,
here.
you know?
Oh, okay, so there's no prescription. It's just like a neutral.
They're hipster glasses.
Yeah. Oh, I hate when
knew it.
people do that, man.
That's the worst. Like, what was that fashion? Who
That
thought that
phase?
fucking
Yeah.
dumb shit idea up?
Oh my god, it's so annoying.
The ones that didn't even have lenses in them at all.
Yeah,
At all.
that was like the
that's-
extreme where they just like,
Come
oh
on.
my god, I
You may as
just,
well wear a sign down the street saying "I am a fucking dickhead," because it's literally the same thing and it's cheaper. So
yeah, I
fucking
did
idiots,
not
man.
understand that.
that was a weird fad.
That was a
What
weird
are some other
time.
cool fads or shitty fads or just fads?
The man bun was a bit.
I like
weird.
saying fads today.
Do you remember fads that used to be fags?
No.
Brody.
It's
This is an international podcast.
Yeah, we don't
little-
use that term here.
Yeah.
I mean the
I believe they like to be called
lollies.
faggots. Okay.
Yeah.
No, and actually,
Not only
it was
Used
a
to be
type
little
of candy.
cigarettes.
Those little candy cigarettes.
Yeah, I
In
remember
Australia, they
those.
were called fags because
Yeah.
fags.
It's like the
can I bum a
Brits, right?
can I bum a fag?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Can I bum a fag, mate? And like,
Because he's fag slang for cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so they called them fags, and
Then they're like, we
In
can't
the late
advertise
yeah.
smoking to children, so
Yeah.
we'll,
Ah,
And
so
I-
that's why they stopped it.
yeah. So they
But that was
changed
a
it to
long time ago.
fads. Yeah, it was.
We were like kids then.
It would have been late '90s, I reckon. They started to get.
Yeah,
they kind of
probably.
started to notice those things. Like maybe we should change this.
I still remember the lolly cigars that you
Yeah,
used
the
to
big
be able to
box.
get. Yeah. What
Yeah.
were they called?
Big Boss.
That's the one. Yes. Like a lolly that looked like a cigar because they had
were
like
fucking
the
delicious, man.
end
Yeah,
like it was
yeah, yeah.
brown and then on the tip was like red, so you could.
Sounds like a dick.
Have you seen the ones here where they're like fags, like fads, whatever the kids are calling them these days?
It's called Jewel, you old cunt.
Disgusting. That's what it is.
It's a
Cancer
Jewel.
sticks. The cancer sticks candy. They have in Germany the ones that like blow candy smoke out, so it looks like kids are actually smoking.
Oh,
Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah,
I've seen some
yeah.
kids on the street. I thought they were smoking. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? This kid's 5 years old. They start young in vetting.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yes, they do.
They do. I mean, it was a real cigarette. No.
Yeah.
And he also had a 3-year-old himself.
He was pushing a pram with like 2 other kids.
Yeah. Cigarette out the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah.
He tricked you.
Job center.
I'm getting old.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Can't keep doing this shit.
But I thought that was pretty hardcore. Like they wouldn't let that fly in Australia anymore. Can't be
all
encouraging our
smoking.
kids to smoke.
Yeah, it all depends on where you are, I guess, in the world. Some places are super strict. Other places, like,
Canada's pretty strict, eh?
yeah, they're pretty strict. But I think New Zealand's way stricter.
Yeah,
'cause
New Zealand's the worst.
I was
actually.
speaking to like a friend of a friend who was visiting, and he's saying like a pack of smokes is like almost $40 in New Zealand, which is ridiculous.
Kind of same
And
as
You
ours.
can also like leave something there, some gold watches, maybe an arm or a foot. Look, I don't have all the money now
Yeah.
because
Yeah, he was saying like you don't bum smokes off of people because it's like literally taking like $2 off someone.
when I was there,
You have to set up a payment plan.
Yeah.
when I was there, I was smoking a cigarette at a bar and was in Queenstown. There's lots of backpackers there,
Okay.
and some backpacker came up to me. He's like, hey, could I like buy a cigarette off you for $1? And I'm like, yes.
That's so
Because I
true.
was like, yeah, that's totally what it's worth. I'm not going to give it to you for free. I mean,
Yeah,
this costs a lot of money.
You don't bum cigarettes
You don't bum
in
cigarettes.
Oz or New Zealand. You
Yeah.
buy them.
You buy them.
Can I give you $1 or something?
Yeah, or you say, can I bum a smoke?
Can I buy it?
And you literally,
yeah. That's it's a bit much.
oh shit, man.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. Like the difference in, because I thought we were strict in Canada, but I guess someone always takes it up another notch.
You can't smoke anywhere.
Yeah, that as
cigarettes are like $30-$40 for a pack. No advertising. No
Yeah, even the advertising.
Plain packaging. That's
plain
it.
Yeah,
packaging.
yeah.
You
So
don't,
when you
And
go to the
also-
grocery store, you got to know what you want, or they don't give it to you.
I remember
Yeah.
going buying cigarettes once in Australia, and they have a plain packaging, and they also have closed containers. Like they put all the smokes,
Yeah, in
Away.
one,
So you
yeah,
can't
so you
even see
can't
them.
see what
so you
you're
can't
buying.
see them what
yeah.
you're buying. So there's no advertising. There's nothing. It's just the names, and so there'd be a wall of fucking tobacco and you know tailored cigarettes, and you go up there and you'd be like, yeah, can I get a pack of Champion Blue? And you'd be like, yeah, okay. And you'd be looking for it for 5 minutes. I'm like, no, not that one. And you'd be like, is it this one? I'm like, no, it's not that one.
damn, they all look the same.
Yeah, it's like, going through. Yeah, because you have to read the packet once you get
Yeah.
it out of. They all look the same.
Yeah.
So actually, it doesn't make it really that much worse for the smoker. It makes it more
Hell for the fucking,
for the fucking
shopkeeper.
the cashier.
Yeah, there you go.
Probably
Forgot
doesn't
the
even
word.
smoke. It's just like I don't fucking know.
Shopkeeper.
Yeah, so I think that's a bit fucked up.
Yeah.
The Australia has a pretty good tobacco lobbyist, I'd say.
Well, they
Yeah.
got sued by Philip Morris or something because I don't
Who's
know what
Philip
they.
Morris? You gotta let our audience know who these
You
people
know
are.
Philip Morris?
You got
is one of the
Google,
biggest,
motherfucker?
like producers of cigarettes.
I don't smoke at all.
But you, maybe
Who
it's- I
invented
know.
the cigarette?
Clever ass motherfucker, man. That guy must be rich. He's probably not rich. His friend is probably rich because this is what happened. He's like, hey, Tom, guess what, man? Smoke this. Tom's like, that's horrible.
dangerous.
What
That's
the
horrible.
fuck?
Give me another one.
He walks away. That shit's good. I'm no longer stressed. Oh, my wife ain't that bad after all. I think I'm
I
gonna
should keep
sell
doing
this.
this.
Yeah.
I should do this several times a day.
Yeah. Then he just starts selling it. Meanwhile, his buddy's like, oh, I gotta go back to the drawing board.
I forget where it came from somewhere. Tobacco, it was like Asia or something, right? And then
Probably.
it just made its way across to the West.
According to Donald Trump, all bad
And then
things
we
come
just-
from Asia.
Like most things, just abused it.
China.
Whoa! You're not to smoke. You're not supposed to smoke that much. You crazy motherfuckers. Well, I think we should jump ahead to our next topic because
How about airplane food? No, no, I'm just kidding.
how's about that airplane food?
No. You know when you move somewhere new and then you see certain things that just like you never get used to,
Like what?
There's a few
like
things.
like a fucking traffic light in Europe.
Yeah,
It's like I don't drive that often, but when I do, it's so frustrating because I'll pull up to a light and then I'll be looking forward, thinking like, oh, I'm gonna see the light that says go in front of me,
no, you have to.
and then someone honks at me and I'm like, why is he honking? Why is he honking? And I look around and I'm like, oh shit, it's green because I gotta look at the side. And then
Yeah, they don't put the
It's in
just
the corner
for
of your
just
eye.
for all our listeners / viewers, future viewers.
Yeah.
That this traffic light situation that Germany has is they put the lights at the front where your car stops, and not across the street. With
Where
the,
you can
on the other
see
lights
it,
where you
yeah,
can
where
see
you
in the
can see
distance.
in
So
the
if you're the
distance.
first one in the row,
It's a
you have to
bitch.
look out the side of your car to see if the light is green.
exactly.
And it's, as the Italians would say, a ritardo. Ritardo, you say, slow.
Yeah, I don't understand it because like the other night I was driving home after work, and then I pull up at the light, and obviously you're the first car because at night there aren't that many cars, and I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and I'm like, oh my god, when is this light gonna change? And I didn't realize that. I was supposed to be looking to the right of me, right? So I'm like waiting, and then a car comes by and he just drives by, and I was like, "What the fuck? You just ran a red light? What is going on?" So then I looked to the right, and I was like, "Oh fuck! It's been green for like 30 seconds or something." So then I keep driving, and then the next time, because at some lights, when you pull up, it's like some places left and right they have the go sign, but then some places they just have on the left side just a turning sign. So then you're not sure if it's like, oh, should I be looking at the right? Should I be looking at the left? So then I was like, okay, I think this time I'm going to look on the left because it's easier to look over to my left side since I was in the left-hand lane than to look on the right side. Get there, and then it's late at night, so I was pretty tired.
You don't know,
And I didn't even realize
one of any one of them.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that. Oh, this side only had the light for you to turn left. And then the same thing happened where a car drove by me, and I was like, oh fuck. It only has, because like the car is like a little smart car, so it was a bit small, so it's not like the most ideal thing to look out of. Oh, so frustrating. I was just like, why aren't the traffic lights on the other side of the road so you can fucking see them properly?
Like right in front of you.
Where you're always looking forward.
Because it's fucking...
You know what? Another thing they don't have in Germany.
I gotta find out the logic behind this.
The you know, when you're driving down a country road and you have the fucking reflectors on the road.
Yeah.
So you know your lights.
Yeah,
your
I mean
headlights,
if you're at night, like it all lights up as you.
Yeah, because there's no street lights.
Yeah.
So in the UK they have this everywhere. In Australia they have this everywhere. These reflectors. I remember being back in the UK, and my ex said, you know, look at all these reflectors on the road. This is silly. How expensive is that? You know, to put on the roads. And I'm like, yeah, but it saves lives. You know, it's like so people can see the road when it's wet or it's dark and condition in anywhere. And she had never seen it before because they don't have it in Germany. Yeah. And I was kind of baffled, really, that they don't have it here. But
I've never noticed that. They don't have the reflectors. They
don't have the reflectors, but they've got the Autobahn where you can drive whatever speed limit you want. Yeah. You know, it's
we
crazy.
don't have reflectors, but we have this fucking like.
In Australia, the fastest you can drive is 110 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, but
here
I
they
think...
drive 220 k's sometimes, and it's like they're about to take off. You know?
Yeah. What do you do at night in Australia when?
You fucking speed, mate.
Like when you're just
check
driving.
If there's any coppers around.
Do you use the high beam or your regular light?
You put on your high beam if you see no headlights in the front.
Oh, okay.
But as soon as you see another car coming, you turn them off.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and
fair enough.
We used to play a little game when we'd be doing night drives back home to Melbourne. We'd see who could like a car would be coming, and we'd both have our high beams on, and you would try to put yours off before they would put theirs off. Who would see each other first.
Thought you were gonna be like who keeps it on the longest.
No, it wasn't a game of chicken. That's that's or as we like to call suicide. But it was just a little game that we used to play. It was stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you always got the person, and you can see them coming from like a mile away. With like their high beams on, you're like, they're not going to turn them off. They're not going to turn them off.
Oh, the people that don't turn them off can get fucked. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but they're like,
and you have to fucking flash them.
Now they have those
what?
HID weird lights that are literally like high beams all the time. Those are
fucking worse, man. Like those big four-wheel drives,
so
and
irritating.
They're like riding your
so
eye.
irritating.
What the? Those should be illegal. Just saying, these people.
I don't understand those
shitty lights.
But those are just like worldwide, which is fucking irritating as hell.
Yeah,
they're probably illegal in Australia.
Well, I fucking hope so.
They legislate against every fucking thing on your car.
Yeah, it's true. Well, Victoria is like the police state of Australia.
That's now going to New South Wales.
Well, actually, you might be right there.
Yeah,
but
that's the new fucking fascist police state.
Yeah, they're pretty hardcore.
Yeah,
I mean, they do have a high road toll. That's pretty big in Australia.
What do you mean, like
deaths on the road?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like toll, as in like you paid to use this road.
No,
With your life.
Not so much. Yeah, with your life. Yeah. It's what AC/DC called the highway to hell. There's a whole song
It's a very
about
sad song.
Yeah, that was their inspiration.
Yeah.
As we were touring, we saw a lot of deaths.
On the news, they report the road toll, like how many deaths
Really?
this
Yeah.
year. Like currently,
in
it's like,
certain states as well. Like it won't be the whole of Australia.
like the road toll this year is like 30,
And
and
always-
last year it was.
I like how you
25.
guys call it the road toll. And
There's
to
people-
any normal human being, that means the fee you pay to drive on this road.
It is the fee.
Okay,
The fee
it's
of your
alive.
life.
But for you guys, it's so normal.
It's the biggest price
that
you can
people
pay,
just fucking
Lambert.
Die on this road that you call it the road toll, which means you're alive.
It's dangerous out
Which
there.
means you probably have like a sentence like, "Hey,
Well, you will pay with your life.
did you hear Tommy? He paid the road toll." Oh no,
Oh,
that's so sad. I feel so bad for you.
Yeah.
the
Did you?
ultimate toll.
Oh, did you hear that roll's a toll road now? What happened? Why are they putting a toll in there? Oh, some guy just drove off the cliff. They put so they have this thing called the road toll, and it always jumps up over. It's a big deal around the Christmas break, or New Year's, because that's when it's like, oh, it's a new year. We've had no road toll deaths,
Ah,
and
okay, they
then,
wanna
and then
do
there'll
like-
be the first one of the
yeah.
season, and then they're like, oh, this is worse than the last season. I don't fucking know how people die on Australian roads, because they're like the most simplistic.
Yeah.
Like it's you just drive straight, and then you stop at the red light, and then like I don't know how people die on the roads.
You know why they die? Because
It's
the
so
roads
boring.
are so straight. Because
Oh,
once
they
you,
fall asleep and shit like that.
yeah, you have like you just
Oh, okay. It's like they get hypnotized just by like this constant straightness.
yeah,
And then
it's
they're like,
My,
oh,
my
okay,
friend
yes.
did say it's like playing the world's most boring video game, driving in Australia between places. Also, they have what is that? The Tetris music.
yeah, it's just straight. It's just the straight blocks all the way through. Like
Yeah, you're just getting straight
bush,
blocks every
bush,
time. Oh, this is
bush,
too easy.
Bush.
oh, I guess you don't have much vegetation
No,
between
it's
places.
very, very
It's just dry.
bland,
Very
barren.
very very the same.
What happens if your car breaks down?
Well, you die.
No, you would call the services and they pick you up. But I've been broken down on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, and it's not fun. It takes 2 or 3 hours till they get to you.
Damn. Yeah.
And then they might not even be able to fix your car on the side of the road. They might have to get a tow truck. So first they come to evaluate it, and then they're like, no, we can't fix this here. We have to take it to the shop, mate. You're like, fuck, where's the nearest shop? There's a town 30 kilometers that way. And you're like, fuck. Then you have to stay in a motel, and it's just fucking,
Yeah, that's
it's
annoying.
horrible.
And it also depends on what part of nowhere you're in. Like if you're on like a coastal nowhere, then you're probably somewhere near something.
And it costs an arm and a leg as well to get your car fixed in these towns.
Yeah, right.
Because they're like, you got no other choice, man. What are you going to tow your car back to Melbourne? That's 6 hours away. I got you, motherfucker.
You're in
you
my
pay.
web now. You're in my web.
It's like a Chinese automobile like mechanic guy just in the middle of the outback. Just waiting for people's cars to be. You pay the money. Ha ha. I have monopoly. You see any garage around here, white boy? Huh? No, I own your car. Ha.
You fucked now.
Like, God damn it. Goddamn Chinese. It's a real problem in Australia, these Chinese outback mechanics. They're really crushing the
Is
economy.
it actually? Or you
No,
just
I'm
fucking
making that shit up.
Okay, because
That would be
being
awesome,
racist.
wouldn't it? It'd be too good to be true.
Although when I was back in Australia, we were in like the middle of fucking nowhere. Stopped at like a service station. For you, Lambo, it'd be like a roadhouse or something. Went in there.
For the Deutsch.
I went to get like a pie. Guy was from India. We were like in the middle. Actually, I think we were in the middle of Australia, literally, because that's like what the town.
Oh, you mean the middle
like,
of nowhere?
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
The
ask
guy-
him like, hey, what are you doing here?
No, because he's allowed to be there, probably.
Of course, no, but I'm just like,
Like, how did he manage to make it all the way out to fucking, this is like,
Yeah, I always ask people.
Hours
I'm
and
very
hours.
interested. But did he have like an Australian accent or an Indian accent?
no, it was from India.
Oh, yeah, that's when you ask, like, motherfucker, like, why?
Because
You have all this land to choose from and you chose this spot? You know what I mean? It's not like anything racist or anything, it's just curiosity.
Maybe
at
maybe
the
it was
time
just
I was
peaceful.
like, it
you know?
might be a bit like a culturally insensitive. It's like,
It was
why
at
is
that
everyone in this,
Asking me this
in this
fucking
servo in this service station from India when we're literally like 8 hours drive from the nearest city?
Hey, it's a
How
good
does that
business,
happen?
good business opportunity, right?
Yeah, probably. The
So
place
he's-
was fucking.
He's like,
Buzzing.
fuck it. Or they just had like some real fucked up shit going on, you know?
I think you're forgetting how fucking shit India is. For one,
Oh no, I agree that it's,
You know, they're probably like, this
it's
is
most
awesome.
likely worse.
we got all the space we want. There's no cunts around. There's no cows just wandering around into my fucking house.
But
I
what I'm
get
saying
to
is,
eat
like,
whatever I want.
There's so many other places in the country that you could probably like.
We're making a fucking killing here. Look at us.
fair enough.
A little fucking
Kind of, yeah. I guess it
Roadhouse
kinda is.
blues.
It's just, it kind of like, it baffled me, like how far that they were out. Like it wasn't like it's like a major.
Brody. They
regional
could say
centre,
the
it's
same
even
about
further.
you, mate.
Yeah,
You're a
like,
fish
what-
out of the water,
What
mate.
the fuck are you doing here, Brody? You had all these countries in between to choose from.
Especially
Fell asleep
when,
when I just woke up here.
especially when I see you walking around barefoot, Brody. That's when I go, yeah.
Does he? Get out of here.
No,
Get
when,
the
like,
fuck out
yeah.
of here.
Sometimes on the weekend when
Oh
we're
my
sitting
God.
outside
That's
on
horrible.
the street, he's just like, got no shoes on. Oh, I gotta embrace it. I'm wearing my
Hey.
flip flops, my thongs, you know.
Brody.
And then his
Shoes
feet
are
get
like-
super dirty, and I'm like, this is what Brody would look like if he was a homeless person. It's very easy. He just has to not wash his feet. And this is why his mum always calls him up twice a day, reminding him to wash his
His
feet.
feet.
That's what I look when I'm a homed person.
Come on,
I'm just
Brody.
like the shoes are just fucking. They're like feet prison. I just want to break out. Once the-
Feet
But
prison.
you're wearing flip flops.
yeah, that's just
How-
like a. It's
It's
like,
free.
I hate wearing flip flops, man. Like, they
Why?
make my. I always get a rash, like,
Oh, okay.
right above the
I mean, I wear like slides, or I don't know what you call them, like
sandals.
sandals.
like the ones with the it goes over your
yeah, sandal.
you know,
It's,
it
I
goes
think
over
it's
your
still
feet.
part of the sandal family. The
I guess.
well, the over toe
Yeah.
sandal.
Yeah, this
I don't
one.
know what you call it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we call them slides, or the young people call
Sliders.
them slides.
Yeah, yeah.
Because your feet, I guess,
Slide into
slides.
them.
Do you remember
Yeah, yeah,
Sliders,
yeah.
that TV show in the 90s?
No, I don't know.
Bird?
I do, but that was on Channel 7, wasn't
It
it?
was Channel 10.
Was it 10?
Yeah.
We didn't get
Ah, I
seven in
never watched it.
Adelaide.
It's like Sliders
Well, I didn't
every...
get Channel 7.
Sliders.
That's right, you didn't get Channel 7.
Or well, I got SBS only in certain parts of the house.
Did you have like an
Wait,
antenna?
whoa. How many stations did you have, Birdie, again?
Channel 2, we got pretty well.
That's the ABC for all the folks that
Okay.
are unaware.
Channel 9 and 10, but sometimes someone would have to go up on the roof and
turn
move
it
the
around.
antenna.
That's 3 stations for everyone back
Oh,
home.
damn.
That's what Brody grew up with, and look how he turned out. You're lucky you got Seinfeld and The Simpsons. Otherwise, you would have been a complete moron.
Yeah, well, I only got Channel 10 was like one of the most like consistent.
That was your
What was on 10?
tertiary education.
Seinfeld and The Simpsons.
What was the cartoon channel? Like strictly like Saturday morning.
Yeah, Cheese,
didn't have a
cheese TV, right?
Well,
Oh, you
in the mornings on Channel 10 was Cheese TV. So between
That was a
like
kids' TV
7?
show for it just played like different cartoons, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, all
So
that
we didn't have
shit.
like we don't have a dedicated channel. We just had
okay.
like a channel that in the morning because it's for like kids are waking up,
Yeah.
and then it turns into like daytime television, and then
Yeah, like soap operas and stuff.
yeah, and then at night it turned into like
Porno.
Simpsons, Mad About You, Seinfeld every night of the week. That's why we know so many Simpsons quotes and Seinfeld because it was all
Yeah.
all we could watch.
Did you guys get like?
I got more stations than Brody though.
Oh,
I got
okay.
at least 5 or 6 stations.
That's not bad.
What?
Yeah, ABC, Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 10, SBS, and Channel 31, which was like a local
Oh, yeah.
station.
Not bad.
That was way out of my league.
Yeah.
What if you had your antenna higher? Would it?
We
Catch
were
more
we were
stuff.
in a valley, so we couldn't.
okay.
And now I have YouTube.
I had
Kids
to,
I don't
these
even
days.
I don't even have an account.
Kids these days.
like
Steal from
the
other
first
people.
season of South Park was on SBS, and we couldn't get SBS like consistently.
Man.
Depends on the weather. So I had to get every single week. I had to give like a VHS tape to my friend, and he
film
would
it.
record it and then give it to me to watch the first season of South Park.
You know, people don't realize how rough Brody's childhood really was.
Pretty tough.
Being from South Australia in this barren land where he had to get a friend to tape the
Oh,
South
yeah,
Park
that
episodes.
struggle is
Oh,
real.
man.
On actual tape.
Yeah. There are people dying in there are children starving in Africa. Just give us your fucking money. Bob Galdós just, where the fuck did you come from, Bob?
Yeah.
You always interrupting me when I'm talking about my childhood.
Did you bring a big antenna? I told you to. Fuck, Bob.
God, I don't like Mondays. I fucking hate them.
Oh, watch yourself.
I dropped something.
All good. Your instruction manual.
Take 2. So, Brody, what's it say on your little piece of paper over there?
So I bought an audio interface today, and it came with a set of. It's titled "Important Safety Instructions." I just want to read the first 4 because I think they're quite great. So it's important safety instructions. Instruction number 1: read these instructions.
That's a very important instruction. If you miss that one, you might miss them all. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Number 2: keep these instructions. Number 3: ominous. Heed all warnings. Number 4: just so in case you were unclear, follow all instructions.
Oh, they've done it again, right? McCain, you've done it again.
Those are the first 4 instructions on the important safety instructions. Now, let's not forget, number 1 is read the instructions, which you might not know unless you've read the instructions.
Well, they're trying to hammer it home, right?
Brody, did you read the instructions by any
he
chance?
probably didn't.
Nah, throw it away.
You're making this up as you go along. There is no piece of paper.
Yeah. He just went to YouTube and like Googled
Instructions?
his version of the audio interface, and he's
It's like-
returning.
So what are the other
returning it.
instructions? Are there-
Yeah, what are the actual instructions?
The other instructions are actual instructions, not
Right.
just
Let me-
read
let me
the
see that piece
instructions.
of
No,
paper.
I
Let me see that
actually
piece of
liked,
paper.
if we could go back, I liked instruction number 3. If you could read that one out again for me, Lambert.
Heed all warnings.
No, you got to say it more ominously. Heed,
Heed
all
all
warnings.
warnings.
Was it heed all warnings?
Heed.
Heed.
Whoa,
Heed
I thought it
all
was. I
warnings.
thought it was read all warnings.
No,
No,
it's
heed.
That's even
Some
more
serious
awesome.
Shit. Yeah, it's some serious shit.
You've
What
been
is this?
warned, and now you must heed these warnings.
Fuck me. Those are some awesome instructions, man.
So do not use this application near water. That's very important.
Okay,
Not on a boat.
but in water's fine, I'm guessing.
Clean,
That's true.
clean it.
Well, fresh water, obviously, not salt water. But
Well,
anyway,
they didn't say.
Yeah.
They didn't specify.
They didn't specify.
if it's dirty, only clean it with a dry cloth.
You know, that's really. This is really interesting stuff, Brody. But I've
No, I
sparked
only
it.
wanted to say the first 4 because the rest of them are actual proper. They could have started from. They could have left out all 4, number 1 through 4, and started from 5. But they had to start with read the instructions.
I reckon
it
it's
sounds
like-
poorly translated, kind of.
But this, when I read that today, it reminded me, and I just wanted to know if you guys had. I'll tell you a story. I wanted to know if you guys had ever had the same
Sit
exercise to do in
Tell
primary
us a
school.
story, Uncle Brody.
Well, gather around, kids. So in primary school, maybe like year 4 or 5, so when we're like 9 or 10 or something like that, we had these, in our first lesson, we had like an exercise that the teacher gave us, and it was about reading instructions and how to write down instructions. So, you know, you learn read all the instructions first and then go through and, you know, go through them one by one. And then you learn how to write instructions clearly. So you had an exercise where you had to you write down instructions for, you know, your partner to do something, and you know.
Where are you going with this?
Yeah.
So I don't
That's what
know.
I'm
So
trying to figure out.
It's one of Brody's riddles again.
So I'm setting up, yeah. So that was the first lesson of the day. You know, you read all the instructions, and then you learn how to write instructions, and then you know we went through the entire day, blah blah blah, and then so school when I was in primary school, it finished at 3:10. So at like I think it was like 10 to 3. The teacher's like, all right, we're going to have this test. Once you've finished the test, it shouldn't take too long. You can go home. So, you know, when you're a kid, like if you get let out like a minute early, that's probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to you. So the teacher gives us this big list of instructions, and she's like, okay, you just got to work through this. And once you've worked through it, you can come up, hand it to me, and you can go home. So everyone gets this big list of instructions. It starts out like, you know, real simple, like, you know, write your name at the top of a piece of paper that you have. And then it's like, you know, draw a circle, blah, blah, blah. All these instructions are like really simple. Then they start getting a bit weirder, like, you know, stand up, say your favorite fruit out loud. So, you know, gets a bit of the way through. People are standing up, orange. You know, apple. And it gets further down. It's like, you know, make the sound of a chicken. It's like, burr, 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 burr. And then, but then at a certain point, some people have just walked up to the teacher, handed it in, and then left. And everyone's like, what the hell? How did they finish so fast? You know, so everyone starts going through quicker, all through like, must have been like 50 or 60 different instructions. Then it gets to the final instruction. It says, now that you've read through all the instructions before doing anything, you only have to do the first 1 through 5 and then hand up the piece of paper, and then you can go.
Fuck, man. That was like the longest way of
It's like
saying that
driving
story.
down an Aussie road.
We got there in the end, though.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, it wasn't so bad.
Which leads back to
At least I
my
didn't pay
piece
the
of
toll.
paper that says, number 1, read all instructions. Reminded me of that little story. Because I did the same thing. I had to stand up. I said orange. And then I had to stand up. And I clucked like a chicken. And
Lucky
then I got
for
to
you,
the end.
we don't have any listeners yet. So
Yeah. I'm trying to think in my life where I've had to do anything like this, and I never had to do this.
what? Like,
I thought there might have been something that
No, like
people did in primary
no,
school.
like the instruction. Like, I think I don't know. Maybe I never had like a moment where it imprinted in my mind like Brody's, I guess.
It really affected me.
Yeah, clearly. To this day, Brody never reads the full manual. He skips to the end every time.
No, I read every instruction. I'm not going through that ordeal again. I clucked like a chicken and yelled out banana.
I just
and
wing
I
it.
didn't need to.
just wing it.
Yeah, that's what I.
It'll be alright. Should be
Yeah.
alright.
Well, clearly no one else learnt a lesson then, because I learnt it.
One time when we were kids, we used to climb on these school roofs and get all the soccer balls and footballs, tennis
Yeah.
balls, any kind of balls that were on the roof. We just collect them all, and so we could, you know, play with them back home.
Yeah.
Because we were middle class and we, you know, we had to steal to get all the balls. You could, you know. So we'd go on the roofs, and one time, you know, there was a teacher there or something.
You never
And then she
expected
called,
the teacher.
yeah, and well, I don't know if she called anyone, but she definitely confronted us. And there was like our friends group, and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing? Get down from the roof. You're not allowed to be up there, and blah, 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 blah. And then my brother's just like, there's no signs. It's like, in this tone as well. It's like, but there's no signs saying that we can't climb the roof. And we,
that's awesome.
we literally just disbanded after that.
It wasn't
She can't catch us all.
That was the best part about being a kid, right? Where you're like, I just have to be faster than the other guy, and we're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
You just have to push over your friend.
Oh, it fucking sucked though when your friend got caught and you just had to leave him back.
Yeah, for sure. I remember like.
That's why you
there were
related so
several
much to
times.
those army movies as a kid, where
Yeah.
no soldier gets
Little
left
step
behind. You're like carrying them on your shoulders. Nowadays, it'd be like, you know, that some a friend misses the train. Like, see you next week, cunt. Yeah, we tried.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I think I did the same thing in primary. Well, not in primary school. I was in high school, but I went to my old primary school to swim in the pool when it was really hot, and I had to like jump over a gigantic fence to get in. And there was someone there like, "Hey, you can't be swimming in there." And I was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know." I had to like literally
That's
mount
actually,
a gigantic fence to get over and like fall into this thing. Like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know."
That sparks a topic in my mind, which is when you go to an event, you know, say sporting or a theater or whatever, and you are sitting there and then you see better seats like in front of you and you're like, all right, we'll wait till the show starts and then we'll just move into those seats because they're way better. Obviously, have you guys done this before?
Oh, I've done it several times.
I've done it a
At
few
basketball
times.
games, all the time.
You know, you jump fences and you're like, oh, I can get there.
Oh, yeah.
And you, whatever. You want to, even on a train or something, oh, I'll just no one's sitting there. I'll just,
like
those
going to
reserved
first
seats.
class seat.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's not second class.
Yeah. And then
You
you
take it out,
always
you're
get caught.
Yeah.
And when you do, like everyone, I think, or most people, they all play dumb. Like,
Yeah.
what? Oh, really? I'm confused. This is a really... I think Seinfeld even does a fucking bit on that. Oh, I see. These are very good seats. I have very bad seats. It is a funny thing that in society everyone does. Because if you get caught in that situation, it's very embarrassing to admit that you were trying to be cheeky and get away with something.
Yeah.
Rather than just playing dumb is so much less embarrassing socially.
Yeah, but I think also I think people think if they play dumb, the other person will let them off the hook. Like, oh, go ahead, you can sit here or whatever.
You can plead ignorance.
Yeah.
And it's really your
Whereas
word
if you-
versus their word.
Exactly.
But
Whereas
I
if
feel
you
like if
accept
you were
it-
real with a few people, I
No,
think
I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
sometimes.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I reckon more so than playing ignorant.
I think playing
Ignorant,
will-
you're safe. You're gonna just get put back to where you were. But if you're like, yeah, I did it. Can you just let us go? Come on.
Oh, if you ask, yeah. But if you're just like, oh yeah, my bad, I just wanted to sit here because it was better in my seat.
I don't know.
Then
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna let you.
Probably. I don't know. I don't
Right.
really leave my apartment much
Someone
to
today.
go see ticketed events. Those days are.
I mean, I like when I
days
went to a
gone.
lot of basketball games. What we do, we just buy, especially when our team was doing pretty shit because we're world champions right now. Anyways, we would buy
What is that? What team is that?
Toronto Raptors.
Yeah. Go Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
That's all we have to say on the topic.
So yeah, what we would do, we'd buy like the cheapest tickets, and when you get into the arena, the one thing they would do is they would upgrade your ticket for like $10.
Oh man.
So like you come in and you just go to like the stand and you're like, oh, not free upgrade, but you're like, oh, you guys are upgrading tickets? Oh yeah, I'll take that. And then you get the cheapest upgrade to get in because like everything's sectioned off, right? It's like
yeah, I know, in like a
poor,
stadium, yeah.
less poor, rich.
Segregated,
So,
yeah.
So you would just get like the less poor tickets by upgrading for like $10. And then when you got there, you knew there was gonna be like a lot of empty seats. So then you waited for the game to start. Like 10 minutes into the game, you just like make your way down to like the
You know what
rich
that-
section.
You know what the equivalent of that is like, or maybe a metaphor. It's like buying a calendar, like 3/4 or like a quarter into the year. I bought my calendar in March. I got it half price. You missed 3 months, but you know what I mean? You get a bargain.
You missed a lot of things because you
Exactly.
couldn't
It's
write
the
them
same
down.
thing. I actually had a story about jumping a fence in my youth, which was I don't know if you remember, Brody, but back in the early 2000s, Coca-Cola had this competition
Okay.
on. You had to collect 20 labels, and you could get a free ticket to this Coca-Cola rock show. And it had, I don't know, 10 acts or something. And it played it
Had a
in
name
Melbourne.
as well, didn't
Yeah,
it?
I can't remember the name, but
Yeah, me neither.
it was in Melbourne. It was where they had the Australian Open at Rod Laver Arena.
Of course it had a name, Brody. Jeez.
No, it's a specific name.
Yeah.
Of course it had a specific name.
No, but it wasn't. He's saying it wasn't just the Coca-Cola concert. It had a,
Okay.
Like
Anyway, I
yeah.
forget even which bands were playing, like some emo fucking alternative bands or whatever.
Right.
But they had
a specific name.
everyone at school was drinking Coke so they could
just
all
to get the
get tickets
fucking-
and go to this
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
And I wasn't gonna go, but then all my friends were going. I was like, fuck it. So I drank a bunch of Coke that week, and then I got tickets. And when we got there, we realized that the tickets, because I'd got them so late, they gave like the first people to get the tickets through buying 20 Coca-Cola bottles. They gave them the better floor standing room.
Okay.
And then the later comers like me, who
Yeah.
did it spontaneously at the end, we had like in the stadium.
Yeah.
So we were really far away from everything. It was super boring. There's no alcohol. We're just like, this sucks. Like,
Yeah.
and my friend's like, look over there. We can jump the barrier and we can jump down into the... And this is like where the Australian Open is held.
Oh,
so
okay.
imagine...
Is it Rod Laver?
Yeah. So imagine being in the stands of a tennis tournament
Yeah,
and jumping from the
down.
stand to the court.
Oh, that's a big leap, man.
It's like 3 meters.
Yeah.
And we all did it. And when I jumped over, I realized, oh shit, this is way further than I thought. And as soon as we jumped, it was kind of like a waterfall effect, or a domino effect, where one guy went and then a bunch of people went. And so I'm like, it's now or never, do it. And I just ran and jumped and I fucking rolled my ankle.
Ooh.
I was like, fuck. And I looked up and
Leave no
and
one
there's
behind.
fucking security guards chasing me.
Get out of here.
So I'm like
Oh, that's
hobbling into the crowd and I'm still high on, basically adrenaline and nothing more because it was a completely underage, sober,
fucked. Yeah.
alcohol-free event. But I ran into the crowd and managed to get away from him. So like I got into the crowd, but my
Yeah.
ankle was fucked.
Damn.
So basically,
That is
I was in
that's
there.
A big fucking drop.
I jumped 3 meters, rolled my ankle, ran away from the security guard, and got what I originally wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
I stood there for 30 seconds and was like, I need to sit down. So I went to the back,
He runs, jumps
I
about
went-
3 meters.
do like a Spider-Man thing.
Security's like, no, you got to go back down, sir. This is not your section.
Well, I went back to the back of the standing room section and sat down on the ground against the barrier. And the security guard went past and was like, wristband. And I'm like, I must have got ripped off in the mosh pit, They're like, haha, real funny, come with me. So he takes me back out to the things like, don't ever fucking try that again. And then I just stood there for the rest of the night with this swollen ankle
Oh, that's
and waited for
terrible.
my parents to pick me up. Like, this fucking sucks.
Oh, that sucks.
It blew, man. Being a teenager sucked.
That's fucking karma right there, mate.
Yeah. Instant karma.
Yeah.
It's a
instant-
bitch. So I did want to mention that there was another topic, and it was we're bringing up pedestrian school. So everybody bring out your notebooks because we can take a few notes today and learn something.
And follow all
You know,
instructions.
the wheels on the bus go round and round. Fucking move out of the way, you dumb fucking cunt.
Now
What
they
I
know
was going to mention was when someone's taking a photo
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
taking a photo and they're blocking the path and you can't get past them. Do you A, walk around them, or B, stop completely, or do you just C, go bowler and just walk straight through the fucking photo?
I think it depends on at what point in the photo. Like if you're a few meters back and you can slow up a bit, then I'd say kind of like slow up, maybe stop. If they're like are just about to take the photo, But if they're like kind of like setting stuff up and got the camera out and it's anywhere on a footpath or somewhere where people are walking, I'm walking through. That's
Lambert,
just
what
my
do you
opinion.
say? Where do you stand on the?
I'm gonna say it depends as
you-
well, but like my depends is a little bit different from Brody's because Brody's is
Brody's
You can't
is-
say it. You can't say the R word.
It's retarded. I can say it
it's
because
very slow. Yeah.
I'm also from Adelaide, so technically,
So what I would say is it depends on where and what time it is. Because if it's like one of the, like if you're in like a super touristic area, let's say like you're in Barcelona at like the big ass church Singra de Familia or whatever. They're
Yeah,
just,
you're a
like,
famous
tourists.
spot.
Yeah, they're just like tourists everywhere.
Then
and
fuck
like
it.
you came out at like 10 in the morning. You've been walking around, constantly seeing people take photos. At some point, you gotta say fuck it.
yeah.
So like after the third person, I'm like, fuck this. I'm just walking through. For me, it's more like how many of these motherfuckers have I seen already? You know?
Yeah, I mean, this is actually, you can go quite deep with this topic because you can say that the reason that we stop is because of like the old days where you'd have an analog camera with film, which was you'd pay a certain amount for.
Yeah, those were expensive.
It was
Holy fuck.
expensive, and so you would have consideration for someone
Yeah.
taking a photo. You'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to fuck up this guy's photo because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
costing him money." Whereas nowadays, every fucking idiot has access to a smartphone, a camera,
Yeah.
and
Snapchat.
they have like endless amounts of photos that they can take. And basically, there's no point of stopping anymore because
Yeah,
what's
they can just retake it.
Yeah, they can just retake it. What's it to them?
But what if it's like some guy doing like a ridiculous pose, you know? Then it's
Then you shouldn't be doing that in like
Well,
a
you should.
majorly public area.
That's his bad for getting in my way.
Yeah.
You know.
or
And-
it's like the perfect leaning tower of Pisa.
I'm not going to be
shot.
walking through people's wedding photos or anything, but I'm just saying, I think in
Oh, there's
general.
that too. There's the wedding photos.
Well,
'cause
that's-
those are very public these days.
Yeah, but that's different. A wedding, you got to give a little bit of respect. You know, they spend a lot of money.
don't know,
It's their
I don't
day.
know.
I'm happy to like not get in the way of that fucking thing. But just generally, the general public, tourists, who gives a fuck, man? They're
Fuck 'em.
fuck them, man. What are they gonna do?
Probably fight you, you know?
That was the
I
best
don't know,
photo
man.
we had.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm taking a photo here. I'll be like, hey, I'm
Or
fucking
imagine-
walking
yeah,
here.
But imagine
Fucking
you're like,
walking here.
guy
Hey,
number
I'm fucking
10.
midnight cowboy in here.
Like you're guy number 10 that just walked through and photobombed them. The guy just gets so fuck. I'm gonna fucking
You ever
kill
thought about how many photos you've been in your life, like in
Oh,
other
I think
people's,
about that all the time.
and how they just, maybe you were in a funny position and people were like, hey, is that fucking,
yeah, look at that weird
look
fucking
at that funny guy in the
Yeah,
background
yeah.
here.
I think about that all the time. I must be in thousands of people's photos, man.
One time when I was in Melbourne, there was this Asian family. They're like, can you take a photo of us? I was like, yeah, sure. So I take a photo, and then they're like, can you get in the photo now too?
That's how they get you, right?
Yeah, that's how they
they're
get
so
you.
Clever. They're
And
so
then
clever.
I'm like, you want a photo with me? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, they're
So I'm just
clever.
like, somewhere out there's a photo of me when I'm
Asian
like 16
family.
years old
Yeah.
in Melbourne with a family of Asian,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know,
fucking awesome.
Chinese people. No, and then they're back home showing their, hey, this is when we went to Australia back in
Yeah.
2006 or 2003. And look, there's that funny
There's a white
Westerner.
guy.
This is Brad Pitt. Brad Pitto. Very famous.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
This is look, Daniel Radcliffe, very famous. Harry Potter. Haha.
Yeah, I had like a similar like experience when I went to like Taiwan with a friend of mine, and like I'd gotten lost because we went to the zoo together, and then like he went back to the apartment, and I was like, oh yeah, I know how to get back to our place. Like, no problem. You just take this bus, then you get on the train, and then the train takes you all the way there. But I got on the wrong bus. And like
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
That'll
like-
get you lost.
like fucking it's just like you look at like the bus sign and you can't read it because it's all in like friggin' Chinese.
Mandarin or some shit.
Yeah, and you're
Thai?
just like
No, it's,
No, it's Taiwan, man.
Taiwan, not
Ah,
Thailand.
please
not
said
Thailand.
Thailand.
No, man, Taiwan.
I thought
Not
they
to
were
be
the same,
confused.
right?
No. Taiwan is the Chinese island. Ireland.
Yeah, basically.
The Chinese Ireland.
So I get on this bus and I'm like, okay, the bus was going, like, it's a stop where the bus that I took here, it's just the other side of the street. So I should be going back in that direction. But no, it started initially going in that direction and then like going down in like the town. And then I'm standing in like the back of the bus.
Yeah.
And then like all these people are taking like selfies with each other, but conveniently having me like between them. And like I can see it, but I'm not saying anything because like I think it's hilarious, but at the same time I'm lost. So I'm just like, how the fuck am I? And like I'm like, who am I gonna ask for help at this point? My cell phone doesn't work. Like, so then like we end up driving through like some like weird ass looking village, and we're driving further and further away from like technology because it's just like. It's no longer like the city. It's like it's going to like little villages at this point.
That's the part where you're like, your insides, you just feel them drop a little.
Yeah.
You're like,
So
what's going to happen to me?
I'm like, do I get off the bus now or do I just like ride this shit out? And then like the bus keeps going and I saw like a train station and I was like, fuck it. If there's any place to get off, it's at a train station because like, it has to connect to something.
Because that's where the heroin addicts are at.
So then, like, I ended up jumping off at the train station. I don't know how I found my way back. I think I just, like, got lucky and, like, saw a place that I saw when I was walking around. And meanwhile, while walking around, like, people are, like, taking pictures, but they're not, like, they're trying to be incognito. Just, like, but all their phones make a sound when they take photos. I'm like, I can hear you taking a photo. Jeez, like, what the fuck is going on here, man?
Like, Snaze is like,
oh, man, they've probably never seen a black man before.
I mean, I reckon some of them in, like, the smaller areas where I got lost in probably haven't. But it was just funny, man. It was just funny for me. I was just like, fuck, how am I going to get back? Eventually found my way back by chance. Otherwise, I'd probably still be in Taiwan right now. Probably, like,
a little dinky little village somewhere.
Yeah. Just like ruling a village or something.
Married to a Taiwanese, Taiwanese lady. Got 7 children and a rice farm.
I just took the wrong bus and now
I took the wrong bus and I never made it back.
It's a beautiful place. Beautiful. If you ever had a chance, go to Taiwan.
Yeah, well,
just don't get on the wrong bus.
Yeah.
Just don't get on the wrong damn bus. Yeah, I did that in Cape Town. And that's
I don't want to do that there.
in Taiwan, yeah, there'd be nothing. People take photos.
Exactly.
Of you.
That's
in South Africa, they take your life. But
I never felt unsafe
when I was in Cape Town. Me and my ex were going to this concert, and it was by the beach at some beach club or something, and it was some South African artists. And it was once we were there, it was totally fine. Yeah. But getting there, we got lost, and we took the wrong bus. We had to take 2 buses. The first bus we got us to like a depot, and then we had to change and get to another get on another bus to get to this beach. And basically, we caught the wrong one, and realized halfway, and then
that's the worst.
We're sitting on the bus and we're like, this isn't going the way. This is going further away from the beach. And it's just suburbia. Like, we've been on the bus for like an hour. So,
holy shit.
And
that's a long way to realize
not on the wrong bus. I'm just saying we're that far out of the city. That it's like the depths of fucking Cape Town suburbia. But we'd been on the wrong bus for maybe 10, 15 minutes. And we were like, fuck, what do we do? All right, let's just get off and we'll wait on the other side of the road for the other bus to come the other way. And as soon as we got off, I was like, we shouldn't have done this. This is not good. No. We look really out of place here. And basically
anyone of Cape Town.
Anyone could have fucking robbed us, but it was broad daylight, but it felt like it didn't matter. It was like there were no rules, the Wild West kind of. And luckily the bus came. It was like the longest 15-minute wait of my life. And then we got back and caught made sure, like, talk to the bus. Place. Is this bus going to the that's just an everyday thing that happens in Cape Town, because a little mistake can make
It can cost you.
it can cost you your life or a
Your
big
life.
yeah, which is the big mistake.
It could be the toll.
The toll.
Yeah. That's the real road toll.
So yeah, that was not a good experience. But hey, just make sure, listeners, when you're catching a bus somewhere you don't know,
Make sure
just
it's the right
double check
bus.
with the driver to see.
Exactly.
If he don't speak English, well,
Just get on
Always
anyway.
have a
luck.
map with you and point on the map where you're trying to go, and he'll be like, if he is very calm, you're probably in the right bus. If he's not calm,
what about this? Hey, like,
you're in the wrong one.
you know, smartphones have become big in the last,
Oh, those have helped a shit ton.
like, astronomically.
Yeah.
But you think about it, you have smartphones that have come into play in the last 10, 15 years, and probably only in the last 5 years has it been affordable for most people to have internet and Wi-Fi abroad. Like, you know,
Yeah,
to have
that
it-
is true.
So
That
then
is
you
true.
can like check maps and stuff. Because I remember even
Yeah.
when I first came over to Europe, I had a smartphone, but I
But you
didn't
couldn't
have
do
a
shit
plan.
with it. Yeah.
I was like, I could go on Wi-Fi, but
Yeah.
the Wi-Fi's were even shit back then.
Yeah. I
And
know.
now it's everywhere.
Yeah, now that like whenever I travel, most places, not necessarily.
And Google
like,
Maps got way better.
Yeah, like the offline map stuff is fantastic. Like it tracks your location and all that,
It's insane.
which is really awesome.
But imagine being a tourist back before that. Like, so even in the
Oh, that must have been rough.
1990s or,
Yeah.
you know, even back in
You
the...
don't have to go back
you know,
even that far.
I know, but I'm just saying, imagine if you were...
I got a good story about the time before we had smartphones. I was backpacking here in Europe. I think it was 2010, and this was like we had internet at the hostels, but still you didn't have a phone with internet. Well, at least I didn't. So I would book a hotel, not a hotel, a hostel, and then I would literally write down step-by-step instructions.
How to get there.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I had like a train ticket, which also had a big book of all the different trains, because, you know, you need to know when a train would go from, you know, Prague to Berlin or something. So you would look it up in the big book of trains. And,
Yeah.
book of trains.
yeah. But I wrote down, I was going from, I think it was Vienna to Prague. And I wrote down the instructions, and I had already gotten a map of Prague. So I had my instructions written down, my map of Prague, and my big book of trains said that going from Vienna to Prague.
Was
should
it
have
really
been-
called that? The big
No,
book of
it was
trains.
just a big
It's a
train
big-
timetable.
I'm just picturing like a big picture book of trains that Brody has.
I want to
You
take
gotta
that
make sure
one.
you have the big book of trains when you.
Choo choo.
So it should have been according to my train timetable, it should have been a direct route. So I get on this train, and it's going along, and then it stops, and I'm like, must have just been
Nice.
must have,
It's trying to add some.
It was
character
we're
to the
making like
story.
little make little sound effects. That's actually a good idea to make sound effects to Brody's stories to make them
Yeah.
more interesting.
Yeah.
hey, you can get
Keep
some
going.
free ones.
Keep
Keep going,
Brody.
Brody. We're
Keep
gonna
going.
we're gonna animate it.
Yeah, add it in later in editing. So I like, and the train
Pay
pulls
me.
up, and I'm just sitting there because I'm like, they must have just had a stop for some random reason, and like one of the train people that work on the trains comes like, everyone needs to get off. And I'm like, and he's like, where are you going? I'm like, Prague. And he's like, all right, you need to follow everyone here, because you need to get on a bus. So I'm walking with this group, like I've got my bag, I'm kind of confused, and then we get on a bus, we cross across the border, we all get off, and then we get on another train, and then so like we're like traveling on this next train to.
Is that my stomach or Brody's stomach?
I don't know.
That's sound effects. That's a train.
I was like, did you just do like a sound effect, or what the fuck?
Oh,
that
so
was?
you can't fucking. We don't have the special effects. This is all real, folks.
I was
All
like,
right.
God damn, did we upgrade our equipment? Shit.
Oh, it's like Brody's making scuba diver noises with his stomach. Shit. All right. So
back to the
anyway,
story.
back to the
So
story.
you're on this second train.
So I'm on this, like, I'll go on
You're
a
on the train to
and then a
Auschwitz,
bus,
and
and then a train. I'm meant to get off in Prague. And I think with with
All of a
Czech,
sudden,
they
I was in a camp.
they do.
How Brody got mixed up.
I'm not even Jewish.
I thought this
Enter the line. Oh, come on. I was supposed to hide all the information written down.
yeah,
How the fuck did he time travel?
So, I think in Czech they must do in English would say like Prague station, but I think in Czech they must do like in French where they do the noun first and then the thing, like
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge is the red windmill, so they put the like station Prague.
Yeah.
So, and I think the word for station, it's something like Hvinsky or something. But I didn't know that, and I just looked at Hvinsky, and I'm like, that must mean Prague.
Oh, my
so I wrote
God.
down like Hvinsky Praha, and
Praha.
which is the name
His
for
name for Prague, I
Yeah, and so I'm like, no, I just gotta look out, keep an eye out for Hvinsky, and then that's where I need to get off.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like,
It's like Brody coming to Germany and being like, right, so my number on my street is 43 and the name is Strasse.
I'm looking for
Looking
Strauss.
for Strasse.
Gets in the taxi. Can I go to 43 Strasse, please?
So anyway, I'm in this train and I'm kind of nodding off a little bit, and then like the train pulls up to a stop, and I like quickly wake up, and I'm like, I see Hvinsky. I'm like, fuck, grab my bag, and I run off. And so I get out, and I'm like, okay, so I need to get to like the center square, and then I can find my hostel. And just by pure coincidence, my instructions pretty much line up exactly to
Brody.
the city center. Although I'm not in Prague, I'm in Pilsen, the home of Pilsner beer.
Nice.
Wow.
You got it for the
So I
wrong-
get to the center square, and I'm like, some of the things on my map are lining up. I'm like, so I've pretty much like my written instructions. I'm like, right for over the bridge, turn left, then right, and I'm at the
It's
center.
fucking awesome.
And I'm like,
Brody went to the wrong city, but he had to get to the center to realize it. That's
no,
hilarious.
I need to get to the center to find my hostel, because my hostel was just off a street. I'm like, this map is almost the same, but it's not quite. And I'm like walking around. I'm like, why is it not exactly right? And I'm just gonna have to ask someone. I'm already in some back streets because I'm trying to like line up my map. I'm like, maybe it's not orientated right. I'm like, I just have to ask someone like, sorry, do you speak English? And she's like, yes. I'm like, it's gonna sound stupid, but what city am I in? And she's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you're in Pilsen. I'm like, oh. She's like, what city do you need to be in? I'm like, Prague. And she just starts
Holy
laughing
shit.
at me.
Poor Brody.
So I'm like, just like, yeah, this isn't it. I'm like, thank you so much for your help. I went and grabbed like 4 Pilsner beers, got on the next train, and just laughed.
Way to go, Brody.
That
So
is- that's-
I accidentally saw Pilsen.
Well-
It's quite a nice little city.
You touched the listeners here tonight, I think, with that story.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy that one.
That was a good, heartfelt story of Brody and his everyday struggles of life. And yeah,
Every day's
tune
a
in
struggle,
next
but every
week.
day's a
Yeah,
story.
tune
you know?
in next week for another
Yeah,
How to Survive.
we're gonna have to make a segment. I don't know how our segments went.
With
This we tried to make segments today, and it just kind of went, whatever.
Yeah, we kind of went off on a bit of a tangent.
It's fine.
Got off at the wrong stop.
But we got our pedestrian.
We got off at the wrong stop.
We got on the wrong bus.
We went to the wrong city. But hey, look, if you don't know where you're going, any road is
We
going to
arrived
take
at
you
the-
there, right?
We
So
arrived at the destination.
exactly, and that's the end of the show. And that's the end of the show, folks.
Thank you for tuning into the Big Dick Players podcast.
You guys are fucking awesome. You guys are the best listeners ever. All right, yeah. Tune in next time for more Big Dick Player podcast.